Maggie Fletcher was usually meticulous about such things. She patted her coat pocket for the third time, then rifled through her purse, her fingers grazing old receipts, loose gum wrappers, and her phone, but not the ticket she was certain she had placed there that morning. She closed her eyes and tried to picture the moment, standing in line at the kiosk, punching the screen with her gloved fingers, watching the little slip of paper emerge with her destination printed neatly across the top, Westville. She could almost see it in her mind, folded in half, tucked somewhere safe, but where? The conductor moved steadily down the aisle, asking for tickets with the mechanical detachment of someone who'd long ago lost interest in the answers. He was 4 rows away. She pushed aside the rising panic and tried to stay calm. There had to be a way to fix this. A quick glance around confirmed no sympathetic faces were watching. Most passengers were absorbed in their own worlds, scrolling through their phones, staring absently out the window at the bare, leafless trees whizzing by, or dozing with necks crooked at awkward angles. Her gaze landed on the man 3 rows back. He was watching her. When their eyes met, he looked away quickly, feigning interest in the laminated safety card tucked into the seat pocket in front of him. She noticed his messy hair, salt and pepper strands that curled over his ears. There was something familiar about him, though she wasn't sure she'd ever seen him before. The conductor stopped in front of her row, tapping his ticket scanner against his palm. "Ticket, please." Maggie forced a smile. I had it. I'm sure of it. I must have dropped it somewhere." His eyebrows lifted. "Then we need to check the floor. Maybe it slipped under the seat." She ducked down, looking under the worn fabric seats, her cheeks flushing as the people around her shifted to watch the commotion. It wasn't there. Of course it wasn't. She sat back up, her pulse quickening. "I'm sorry. I must have lost it somewhere before I even got on the train." Her voice wavered despite her efforts to stay composed. "But I did buy one. I just don't have it now." The conductor's face softened just a little. "If you don't have a ticket, you'll need to purchase a new one or get off at the next stop. It's policy." "I don't have any money with me." The words tumbled out before she could stop them. "I didn't think I'd need cash. I was just trying to get back home before my kids get back from school. If I don't make it..." She stopped herself, knowing that it wouldn't matter to him. His expression hardened, a practiced look of authority. "I'm sorry, man, but without a ticket, you'll need to get off at the next station." Her eyes stung, humiliation washing over her. She would be stranded miles from home, with no money and no way to contact anyone who could help. Her phone was nearly dead. She should have charged it last night, but she had been too tired. From the corner of her eye, she saw movement. The man 3 rows back stood up, clearing his throat. He held out his phone toward the conductor. "I'll pay her fare." The conductor turned, momentarily surprised. "You want it? Pay for her ticket?" "Yes," he spoke with a calm certainty, his voice even and steady. "She's just trying to get home to her kids." Maggie looked up at him, speechless. His expression was kind but distant, his eyes fixed on the conductor as if this were just a routine transaction. The conductor hesitated, then nodded. "All right, Westville then?" "Yes." He tapped his phone against the scanner, and it beeped, confirming the payment. Without another word, he returned to his seat, his gaze never meeting Maggie's. The conductor moved on down the aisle. Maggie's cheeks burned, gratitude mixing with embarrassment. She twisted in her seat to look at him. "Thank you. I don't even know how to..." He was already absorbed in his book, his head bent low, his fingers absent-mindedly twisting the corner of the page. She turned back around, staring at the seat in front of her. What kind of person did that? Paid a stranger's fare without a second thought, and why? The trees outside blurred together as the train sped along the tracks. She should thank him properly. She should at least learn his name. But each time she mustered the courage to turn around, she felt a tightness in her chest, the shame of her situation holding her in place. By the time the train pulled into Westville, she had convinced herself that she needed to speak to him, even if it was just to say thank you. But when she turned around, his seat was empty. She stood on her toes, craning her neck to look down the aisle, but he was gone, lost in the crowd of disembarking passengers. She shuffled off the train, her bag clutched tightly to her chest. The platform was bustling, people rushing past in every direction. She scanned the faces, searching for his salt and pepper hair, his gentle eyes. Nothing. He was gone. Maggie stood there, her heart sinking. She'd never been able to thank him. She didn't even know his name. As the crowd thinned, she finally turned away, heading for the exit. She would make it home before her kids got back from school. She would pretend everything was fine, that she hadn't nearly been stranded miles away, but she would never forget the kindness of the man who helped her. Maybe that was the point. Maybe some acts of kindness weren't meant to be repaid. Maybe they were just meant to be remembered. She stepped off the platform and started the walk home, her heart a little lighter, her faith in people just a little bit stronger. Thanks for tuning in to Fireside Stories. For more stories, remember to like and subscribe. And we'll see you the next time that we're all gathered around the fire.